Hey there, Internet. We're a third of the way through June, so it's probably a good time to do my May wrap-up video. The one book I owned that I read was Ajax Penumbra 1969. This is a novella that's a sort of spin-off slash prequel to the amazing novel Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore. We read that for my book club with students this past spring. I thought the audiobook was amazing, and I love the writing style, and Robin Sloan hasn't written anything since. So since I wasn't able to quite let these characters go just yet, this novella hit the spot. The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater was next on my list, and I can't say too much about this because it's the final book in her amazing Raven Cycle series. I will say that her level of writing and her crafting of words is better than ever. The amazing imagery, fitting in new pieces, bringing in still new characters and new aspects of the story. It was an incredibly lush landscape. After talking to some other readers, there are a few things that I have issue with, but it was only an after-the-fact sort of thought. Overall, I finished that book completely satisfied and so sad to see that the series is over. I think it is her best series yet. I think she did an outstanding job with it. Ransom My Heart was written by Mia Thermopolis, or really Meg Cabot writing as Princess Mia Thermopolis. I was in the mood for a romance story. Not gonna lie, it was just one of those things. I wanted something fun. I wanted something I didn't have to think too much. I wanted something with, kissy times, and I got it in this book. The Women Who Lived for Danger is a book that I would recommend to anyone like me who is a huge fan of Peggy Carter in the Agent Carter series in the Marvel Universe that's going on right now. I was a huge fan of that character. I loved that show for the 2 seasons it was on. This book is nonfiction and telling the story of basically the real-life Peggy Carters of World War II. Now, they weren't hanging out with Captain America, but what they were doing was just as important. Actually, they were parachuting into France, and they were spies, and they were helping spies. The work that they did was so incredibly important. They were radio operators, and they would help be getting messages back and forth across these war lines, and it was just an incredible story. This is sort of like a microbiography of various different women. Some of them survived the war, some of them didn't, but all of them took on this amazing patriotic duty and had vastly different experiences within this one organization. I believe it was called the SOE. Noggin by John Corey Whaley was recommended to me by my high school cousin. This is the story of a boy who has cancer and decides to donate his head to be cryogenically frozen, not really expecting to ever have it be reanimated in any sort of way, but he's just sick of fighting cancer, only to end up waking up 5 years later with his head attached to a completely different body. Noggin becomes his nickname, and he's adjusting to the fact that he thought this would happen 100 years from now, but now his parents are still there, his friends are still there, and worst in his mind, his girlfriend has moved on, is now 5 years older, and is engaged to someone else. My cousin loved this book, and I can see why a teenage boy would love it. I thought it was an interesting concept. I thought it spent a lot of time on the girlfriend thing, but if you are a fan of John Corey Whaley's writing, I'm sure that you'll enjoy this standalone of his. The Badass Librarians of Timbuktu, I'm not gonna lie, is a book that I picked up because I thought it had a great title. And according to the blurb, this was the story of a group of librarians in this legendary city of Timbuktu that were working to save these precious manuscripts that were hundreds of years old from when Al-Qaeda started taking over the region. Now, that's according to the blurb, and while it does touch on that part of the story, it does spend a lot of time building up jihadist history in the Middle East, which is something that I wasn't expecting. So if you're going to pick up this book, be prepared that the actual saving of manuscripts in the librarians is actually a very small part of what this bigger book is about. And finally, I finished off the month with the Hamel Tome itself. This is an incredible book for anyone who is a fan of the musical, but also people who are just fans of musical theater or theater in general. It's amazing to see how the whole process of putting together a show actually happens. To see how this amazing epic musical now went from an idea he had on vacation all the way to now, it's just incredible to see how this all came together. Something that's also incredible is the wordplay in this musical is amazing with all of its hip-hop, and to see the annotations by Lin-Manuel Miranda, to see what he was thinking and like the historical accuracy of some of these things, his annotations on his lyrics in addition to the story of how this musical got made. It's just incredible. I would highly recommend it for any library, even if you're not a fan of the musical. This is just a really great reference piece for your theater section. So that's it, that's what I read in May. I haven't done really much of any recreational reading yet in June, but I'm gonna get right on that. School's out, so I have lots of time on my hands. All of my usual links are down below. Comments are always welcome, and that's it for me for now. Take care. Bye! I'm currently reading Summer Days, Summer Nights, and Men Explain Things to Me, and if you like what you've seen here today, please like and please subscribe for more.